So yeah, the title track made it to number 24 on the chart, so it was another kind of hit for you guys.
Mhm.
Did you tour again with Earth, Wind and Fire on that record, or what happened with that?
No, we end up getting our own separate tours with different acts at that time. I think we went out with
GQ.
GQ.
That was theirs. I remember that.
Gap Band, Cameo,
Cameo. Yeah.
A bunch of different groups.
Yeah. Evelyn Champagne King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was never quite the epic master tour of Earth, Wind and Fire. So it was tours on a smaller level, but great tours though. Really fun.
Yeah, so sort of like Funk Fest type of shows.
Yeah. Some tours, some like one-offs that would happen. A lot of colleges.
Right.
A lot of colleges remember that. Yeah.
I seem to remember that we did a few, like it was us, Pockets, Cameo, and GQ, and co-headline. Sometimes Cameo would be the headliner, sometimes Pockets would be the headliner, sometimes GQ. But I remember a few of those dates.
Yeah.
So what's the most unforgettable memory you have from that tour? Anything stand out? Anything stand out? Whether maybe it was a mishap or something great. Either way.
That would have been the thing with Cameo.
That's what Ray say. Yeah. It had to be the thing with Cameo.
Yeah, I remember playing one of those dates with Cameo, and the plug got pulled for some reason. We don't know why. I still don't know why, but the plug was pulled on us.
Yeah.
I don't know if we went over time or what happened, or the music was too good, or I don't know what happened. But anyway,
we were rocking. We was cutting them a brand new one, as they say, and the crowd was into it, and they were headlining, and they were coming on after us. I just remember the energy was good. I remember everybody was in a zone. Larry was in a zone. The audience was in a zone. And the next thing you know, because it was our last song, the last song. Next thing I know, boop.
Yeah.
Somehow accidentally the power got cut.
We don't know what happened.
Yeah. Don't know what
happened. Did you guys get pissed off?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think the manager got really pissed off. More so than us.
Right.
Well, at least you got most of your set in.
Yeah, we got most of it all in.
Yeah.
Except for that last little bit. Yeah.
And what about going back on the Earth, Wind and Fire tour? What was there one venue or one show that just really stands out for some particular reason?
I would have to say the time we played here in our hometown. We played it was called the Baltimore Civic Center. And it's just amazing coming back, playing with Earth, Wind and Fire in your hometown to all your people that you know. It was really cool.
Yeah. So you're like, see, I knew what I was doing, dropping out of college.
Right.
For me, it was cool coming to the show because, I was there. I was they were introducing me to Earth, Wind and Fire. Met Verdine, and, he found out, this is Gary's little brother. Oh, and then he called me my nickname. And from that day on, Verdine would always call me by my nickname whenever he saw me. He still calls me by my nickname when I see him.
Nickname.
Yeah. You didn't ask.
What is that nickname?
God. So my nickname, growing up, my nickname was Boo Boo.
Boo Boo?
Yeah, Booboo. And that's just what they call me. And so I guess in the band, the Pockets guys, George especially, hey, Boo Boo, what's going on? And the Verdine was like, Boo Boo. Boo Boo.
That's great.
So that was cool. That was cool for me for different reasons, though.
Yeah. So did you guys do any TV appearances during those years? Did you do Soul Train and that kind of thing?
No, we were supposed to do Soul Train, but I don't know what happened. We did not do it. No, it was mostly just a lot of radio stuff, radio appearances and concerts. but no TV. I wish we did do some video. That would have been killer, but we didn't do it.
Yeah.
What about your show itself? Did it change much? Obviously, you did a few more songs because you had more with the second record, but did the way you presented the band change much from the first tour with Earth, Wind & Fire to what you did later on when you went out yourself?
Yeah, because I mean, we're kind of copying after Earth, Wind & Fire, and we wanted to do it, and they did it on purpose, even to the fact where the outfits, uniforms that we bought, kind of looked like Earth, Wind & Fire-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we learned a lot from what they did on shows, and just kind of took that and kind of made it something that we would use. Of course, we didn't have all the props and everything. That was lovely to have if you had all that money, but
you have Doug Henning on your staff?
No. You do the tubes on no disappearing anything. So, but yeah, stuff kind of evolved over the years. Yeah.
Well, the second record got to number 22, so you guys were still flying pretty high with those records, the first two. And the third one, So Delicious, came out 79.
Disco.
Yeah, so what changed with that, and what were the influencers that shaped that record into what it ended up being?
Well, I know that record, there was definitely a lot more outside writers for that record. Matter of fact, I think there was a few outside players even on the record. Because a lot of, like the horn section, a lot of people were starting to do different projects, get into different things, getting to producing themselves, on other artists. So everybody's getting a lot more busier in that whole music scene. Thinking about it, hindsight, I should have been more on the business side, and probably should have told everybody, nah, let's get back in here and try to, stick to the formula and create our own and try to keep that going. Because in the end, writing and having your credits is where it all is in this whole music industry.
Right.
If you become a good writer, that kind of brings you up. But I didn't do that. I wasn't thinking about that at that time. So.
Yeah, you're just still enjoying the ride too much.
Yeah, I was enjoying the ride,
Yeah, but that record, I mean, to me, definitely was not as strong as the first two.
Yeah,
personally,
Yeah. Feel the same.
Yep.
And the charts kind of reflected that too. It got to 43, and So Delicious got to 34.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say there wasn't still, some good stuff on that record, because, there definitely was. I mean, How Do You Think It Feels was a nice upbeat soul song, kind of had a real early 70s kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Why'd You Do That? It's a real kind of swinging R&B track.
Yes, I play drums on.
You did the Delphonics cover on there.
Right.
And then, yeah, you had some disco kind of stuff with like Catch Me. And what was the other disco stuff on there? I know you had some other.
Charisma.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely Charisma.
Mm-hmm.
And Baby, Are You Coming Home With Me?
Yeah.
A little bit. So was Verdine less involved on that record than he had been?
No, he was still very much involved. Yeah, matter of fact, they'll be bringing in all the other writers for the influence of that particular album. Verdine kind of brought them in. And that was cool.
Yeah, I see on the Jerry Hay was doing some of the horn arrangements. Great horn guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But one of the notes I made on the list of credits I have was just I wrote down more people !
Right.
I mean, a lot more people in this project.
A lot more people. Yeah.
Maybe a few too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just felt that I think it would have turned out better if, like I said before, if I had the hindsight, or we all had the hindsight to come back in, you know, and concentrate on us instead of worrying about all those other things that was going on out at that time.
Right.
That's the way I feel.
I gotta say though, So Delicious, that title track was kind of unusual, you know, mellow R&B track, definitely something a little different, and a real nice flute in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And Your Heart's in Trouble. I like the gospel, like funk kind of flavor in that one.
Yeah.
And I think that should have been a single.
I agree with you. When you mention it now, think about it. I agree.
Yeah.
What was the biggest single on that one?
It was the title track.
Okay. All right.
34.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Didn't they release Catch Me as well?
I think they did.
Yeah.
That was definitely disco.
Yeah. Also, this one, unless I'm mistaken, to me it seemed like it had the most emphasis on sort of the falsetto vocals.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was between Larry and Charlie. Charles was the trumpet player, did a lot of falsetto singing on that.
So what happened around this record? And, you know, was it the record label at all, you think, or the management that was trying to push it in the direction it ended up going? Or was it Verdine? Or, you know, I know you weren't paying as much attention as you said maybe you should have, but who was kind of driving that train, you think?
The keyboard player and probably Verdine, mostly, as I remember. Yeah.
It's interesting thinking about it too from the perspective of Earth, Wind & Fire, because they got a lot mellower and sort of more pop at the end of the 70s too, you know, with Boogie Wonderland and kind of the direction they went. They were quite a bit a ways away from like the All in All, you know, when you guys first connected with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, After the Love Is Gone, all that stuff they were doing.
I kind of think that whole, that was the beginning of the whole disco phase. So, and I know that Charles was partnership with another writer, Kelly.
Yeah, Eban.
And they were doing other side projects. And that's kind of why we, you know, as Pockets, we weren't all together writing for that particular thing, because everybody was kind of doing their own thing, going out, you know, I guess trying to create their own, which I can't blame them. That's what most people do.
Right.
So, and which is probably why Pockets stopped at that time, because everybody kind of went different directions on working on their own projects.
So when did you find out, or when did it become certain there wasn't going to be a follow-up to that record?
There was a meeting. It was the meeting. Yeah, in the 80s, 1980.
And was it a friendly parting, or was it, you know, what was the?
Well, I mean, for me, I was disappointed that they decided, you know, to part ways. And then I was kind of disappointed that everybody decided to branch out and try to do their own things, because I was like, hey, we're a group. Let's try to stick this together. You know, we can, you know, go back and try writing and create another album. But yeah, you know, everybody wanted to try their own projects. So I said, okay, well, you can't keep everybody together. You can't keep people together. They want to stay together right now. So,
yeah.
Did you guys actually do any live shows based on after that third record, or did you just kind of?
No, we did a lot of live shows after that.
Oh, so you still toured after the third record?
Yeah, we had still some obligations that was on the books, contracts and everything. So we still played. Then eventually it kind of fizzled out. I think, you know, when they went their own way, I started getting a lot of studio calls to do a lot of sessions. So I kind of went in that direction. And I think you did the same, right?
Yeah, I started working with Peaches and Herb after that. So, and I was a drummer. You know, it was like, hey, you can be the drummer with Peaches and Herb.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, well, may as well do it. I was disappointed as well that Pockets kind of didn't continue, though. You know, I mean, that's why I left school. You know, it was a family unit. So, but
I don't think we even tried to. We tried to do some studio work, or try to create some other tracks in Philly at Sigma Sound.
Right, with Bobby Eli.
Yeah, with Bobby Eli. So we went up there a few times to try to get the magic back with the same guys, but everybody was too busy doing their own thing, so it was really hard to do, hard to recreate.
Yeah.
So, what kind of session work besides Peaches and Herb? What else did you guys get involved with in the early, later into the '80s?
Well, a name that you would know. You might not know. You ever heard of Diodato?
Sure.
Okay. I did 2 of his albums back at that time. We did a lot of stuff with Sigma.
Yeah,
like
in Philly. Did some
Philly,
Blue Magic.
Blue Magic, and what's the young lady? God, I can't think of her name. Right, Betty
Wright.
Betty Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we did a lot of sessions for a lot of different people. At that time, was doing a lot of commercial jingle stuff, you know, for small time, you know, local stuff. Get called for that. That was cool.
We experimented with producing a record for ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's also when we released a disco hit called "Shine Your Light" under the name The Graingers.
Right.
And actually did pretty good on the charts.
What year was that?
It would have been, I want to say 81.
81 or 82, somewhere around there. Yeah.
It was either 20, made it to the top 20s. It was #1 in a lot of states.
Yeah.
And most recently it's in the movie White Boy Rick.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
Yeah. You can look it up. It's called The Graingers, Shine Your Light. It was a big roller skating song, apparently.
We actually did some touring on that. That's great.
We actually did.
Yeah. Oh, definitely have to look that up. Yeah. Very cool. During that time I didn't really ask when Pockets was still together, but in the late '70s, early '80s, were there any bands that were around at the time, or artists that you guys really admired, or kind of, you know, who were a couple of your favorite contemporaries aside from Earth, Wind and Fire?
Chicago.
Yeah.
I love that group called the Gap Band.
Yeah.
I really love them.
Yeah.
Who else we love? Love Slave.
Yeah.
We thought they was pretty hot.
Steve Arrington and Slave. Yep. Pleasure.
Yeah, Pleasure.
Yeah.
Jeez. They're all coming back.
Yeah.
Atlantic Star.
Atlantic
Star. Yeah. Love them. It's a long list.
Yeah.
To keep going. But you know, of course, Earth, Wind and Fire still stayed the top for us.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's get a little more up to date then. So you guys still did session work in the '90s and into the 2000s, and did you ever get any facsimile of Pockets back together and do any one-offs or anything like that?
Well, going back, let's see. Going back to the early '80s, when we was doing the session work and then did the Grainger thing, we also started working in like a more like a circuit band situation, band called Max, that we kind of, you know, worked while we were doing the sessions and all that other stuff. Then as Max went on, I would say around the '85, '86, that's kind of when we split up.
Right.
Because I got an audition, I got called in an audition for John Scofield guitars. Went up to New York and did that, and got the gig, so that was cool.
Right.
And got a chance to hook up with John and learn about a whole nother phase of music.
Right.
He's a great player.
He's an amazing player.
Yeah, good guy too. Good guy.
And at that same time, you got called.
Yeah, '88. I got called to go out on tour. Well, to do the Grammys with Whitney, and then that ended up being a European tour with Whitney Houston. So he was doing the jazz thing, and I was doing the pop thing. Yeah.
I was overseas in Europe and playing all those jazz festivals, Schofield and Dennis Chambers. He was on the pop scene playing with Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Dennis Chambers is a beast.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So that went on until the 90s.
Right.
John decided to, you know, go a different way. So came back home, tried to regroup. And I think same thing happened with Whitney.
Yeah, the musical director changed position. New musical director, normally what happens there is new band, just like a company, you know. So from '88 to '90 was when I was with him. So that changed. So yeah, we came back and
yeah. So then we started thinking more business wise. We created a studio, home studio, right. Created a record label with a friend of ours that was did a lot of tour support and tour management.
He's actually still Earth, Wind & Fire's tour manager to this day.
Yeah,
still our buddy.
So we created a record company, and then we started creating our own projects. Mainly, we started off calling our stuff Grainger, just Grainger, and it's kind of like jazz funk music, if you want to call it that. Yeah. Grainger Phase 1, first CD, did pretty good.
Did really good. Actually, because Come Here Baby, we got that song featured Mesa Leak and Kim Waters, and it actually went #1 on a few stations. And from that song, we got some calls from some major labels interested in, you know, signing the group.
What year did that come out?
'96. Yep.
Yeah. We were producing too a lot there. Producing a lot of different local acts. And doing a lot of jingle work, commercial work, and everything out of our studio.
Yeah.
So,
then Phase 2.
Yeah, then did Phase 2, which I had Schofield on a few of those songs in Phase 2.
Yeah.
And then now, long up and coming, we just releasing Phase 3.
Right.
Well, Phase 2 came out what year?
2001, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is in between working and playing and gigging and doing other people's projects and really trying to get a better handle on the business.
Yeah.
You know, trying to make sure that we make the right moves this time.
Not to mention there was family stuff happens, you know.
Yeah.
People getting married. You got kids.
Yeah.
It's called life.
Yeah, life. Yeah.
You got to make sure the money's coming in. So you got to stop thinking, no, okay, make sure the business is right. So.
And then whenever we did whatever we did with Grainger, there people would still see Gary and go, "Weren't you in Pockets?"
Yeah.
I mean, Pockets would still come up.
Pockets still will come up all the time.
Yeah.
No matter where I would go.
Well, you guys still done some shows where you perform the Pocket songs, right?
Well, okay, moving on to that. So after, you know, playing with all those different groups and everything, and us doing the Grainger thing, I think somewhere in there you got the call to go join Acoustic Alchemy, right?
Acoustic Alchemy, yeah, which is an English smooth jazz band.
Yeah. And then eventually, the bass player, he decided to do his own thing.
Right.
And Greg called me to join Acoustic Alchemy. So that's how we got back together playing in that group called Acoustic Alchemy for the last 14 years.
17 for me, 14 for Gary. It was funny because they knew of Gary through Schofield. And, you know, obviously I'm Gary's brother. That's the first thing. Greg Grainger, yeah, you related to Gary? Yes. You're Gary's brother? Yes. So that's been my name for a long time. That's Gary's brother, which is cool. Yeah. So when Frank left, the bassist for Alchemy, Miles was like, "So, man, I wish. So, do you think your brother would consider playing with us?" I'll just ask him. And Gary's like, "Yeah, sure." So then they were like, "Oh, wow. Oh, so Gary's playing bass with us, you know." So get the Grainger brothers. Yeah.
So you returned the Pockets favor.
Exactly. Never thought about it like that, but you're absolutely right.
So, but going back to Pockets, what would happen is, playing with all these different artists with Schofield and Acoustic Alchemy, I'll still get fans all around the world that would bring up Pockets albums from your side. In Japan and Copenhagen,
Crazy in Japan, yeah.
UK, just France, all over. So it got me thinking. I said, okay, well, maybe I should just call the guys and see if they'd be willing to maybe get together and, try to have at it again. Not go as serious as we did before, but at least just make some new material, put it out, and see what happens. Because the brand name is still very hot. So that's kind of what we did. Eventually talked to most of the people that were still alive, because we had keyboard player passed away, sax player passed away.
Right.
So got together, had a meeting at my house, said, hey, this is my plan. Let's write some new tunes, and let's just see what happens. Nothing heavy. We ain't got no contracts right now. It's a whole different scene musically.
Right.
So they ain't even about that. So we got together and did that. We actually put the band back together, and we did a few rough shows just to brush the dust off, so to speak, locally.
Right.
And started recording. Eventually, what ended up happening was a lot of cats, there was in too much other stuff, too many obligations, and really couldn't give the time into doing this again. So ended up breaking back down to just you, I, and Larry.
Yep.
Larry Jacobs, original lead singer.
Yep.
And another singer that we got, younger guy from Baltimore, joined in with us. And we started working that as the new Pockets, so to speak. We put together a single and actually released it, but we released it more so overseas than here. And what that did was a promoter called me up and said, look, I got these 2 events over in the UK. Can you come over and do Pockets with this group called Breakwater?
Right.
So that's probably the last biggest thing we've done as Pockets. We did 2 dates in the UK, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing, because they were all sold out, and people were coming out the woodworks with albums to sign. It was really, really cool to get that thing again.
Yeah, this would have been what, 2017.
Yeah, 2017.
And we still might do some more, because every time we're over there, we are asked to come back and bring Pockets.
Bring Pockets back.
And we are still working on some material together. So plus this new age now, it's about singles more than it is about the whole CD. People hear one single, they download the single becomes product. So it makes it a little easier, because we can focus in on one track at a time and then introduce it. And it's internet radio now, which makes things a lot easier as well. So
yeah,
we want to continue to build the fan base, or to keep the fan base of Pockets, but to also build it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what year about was it when you first approached the guys to see about rekindling it?
Oh, that had to been, 17, 16, 15, 14. May have been 13 or 14. Yeah, talking to them, seeing if they're interested in trying to get it back together.
What was it like when you first were together, first struck it up and tried to play one of the tracks again?
It's like, thought the same.
Much rust, or just kind of went right into it?
Yeah. Everybody knew their part. It was all cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to, of course, we had to get another keyboard player, because, our guy's gone, sax player. But yeah. Thought the same.
Yep.
Business as usual.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of folks that would like to see a Breakwater and Pockets show stateside. I had Steve and Greg on not too long ago, talking about what they're up to, and there's definite interest, still in the great music that you guys do. So
we'll have to make sure that you know about it when we do it, because it's not too far-fetched that we will not do it. So we'll let you know.
So after we finish get finished plugging. Hey, here it comes.
Uh-oh.
Phase 3. So can that be purchased now or not?
It will be available for purchase, I'm going to say, by the first part of February.
Yeah.
On Amazon, the phase 1 and phase 2, you can get on CD Baby, Amazon, iTunes,
all the usual.
Yeah, so this will be on all the same spots as well.
And are there any guests on that one?
There's a lot of guests on all our Grainger CDs.
Yeah.
Kim Waters, Schofield,
Paul Jackson Jr., Mesa,
bunch of people.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, Paul Reed Smith. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It took like 13 years or something.
Yeah. We had to stop working just for a little bit to get it done.
And there might be a new Pocket single coming out too. So we'll let you know about that as well.
We'll drag Larry back out.
Beautiful. Yeah. So guys, it's so great to hear that you're still so deep into it. If you look back on all you've done and all you've accomplished, what would you say that you're most proud of in your musical career?
I would probably say that I'm most proud of making that decision to go play with Luther Ingram from college. Because if I probably wouldn't have done that, I don't know if the journey would have been the same, because that all kind of started from there.
You got to take a little leap of faith sometimes, right?
Yep. Yep. Jump out there.
That's a good question. That's a good question. Not necessarily most proud of as far as the gigs are concerned, but it's just in the musical career. I guess I'm most proud of the fact that we did eventually get our toe into the business side by starting the record label and starting the studio and getting a better understanding. That way, as things grow, we won't make the same mistakes from the past. You're supposed to learn, right, from the past. And a lot of that, there's so many musicians that the music business, we always miss the business part of the music business. So I'm glad that we definitely decided to
get into the music
into
business.
that side of it.
For real.
Yeah.
What would you say is the key to the Pocket sound? What are a couple of the elements that make Pockets what it was and maybe what it still is with what you guys are doing? But I like to say, what is the essence of that signature sound?
I would say it was the rhythm section groove,
right,
along with adding the tasteful horn section,
right,
and also having Larry's unique voice, which is totally different from any other stuff I heard out there. So definitely that combination is what I think it is.
Yeah, and I guess before I joined the group, what I noticed was that it had like a gospel funky influence, and I'm thinking that maybe was from Al McKinney because he played in his father's church. Happy for Love kind of had a gospel funky kind of influence on the groove. This is before I actually became part of the group. So just that undertone with Gary and George, just feel.
Well, Come Go With Me was basically,
yeah.
So we're talking about going to heaven, so it's really gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I picked up on. And then then putting the horns with Larry's unique voice. Yep.
There you have it. Guys, do you have any other words that you'd like to share with viewers and fans out there?
Yeah. For the young people that may watch this this video, if you can stay in there and if you're into music, try to get into actually playing the instrument and learning about it is very fulfilling to do that. because I think the art of playing live music is starting to be lost,
Right.
because a lot of it's not in schools, and we're really trying to do our best to try to bring it back to the young people so they can start learning how to actually play these things and not just worry about the little pushing buttons and everything. And then even playing and singing, learning how to really sing, because a lot of days singing is not a requirement to go in the studio, because they can fix everything in the studio. So just learning for real is much better and much more fulfilling, I think. Right?
I agree with him. I agree with him. There's an organization that I helped to co-found called the Musicianship, themusicianship.org. And that's what the whole purpose is. It's about bringing music to inner city youths. And Gary is an ambassador of that. And we have a lot of professional musicians like Victor Williams, Victor Wooten, Dennis Chambers, because it is about exactly what Gary said, trying to get music, real music, back to the youth. So I agree with everything he said. Stay with it and then learn how to play music. Computers are good, but learn the heart, where it actually comes from.
Yeah.
And how can everybody keep up with what you guys are doing in your various projects?
That's the website.
It's a few ways. We have a website. It's www.grainger.band, B-A-N-D. And that basically has like a little pie chart of everything, the Grainger projects 1, 2, and 3, and then over to Pockets, and then over to a few other things. So that's the best way. We're going to increase our social media presence.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do these days.
Yeah. And there is Facebook, but that will also tie you into our Facebook Grainger page. And anything that says Grainger Brothers, because Grainger Brothers, we're going to be putting a lot of projects out under that name of Grainger Brothers. It may be Grainger Brothers featuring Pockets. It may be Grainger Brothers featuring Lonnie Liston Smith, because we've worked with him as well. Maybe Grainger Brothers featuring the Paul Reed Smith Band. So www.grainger.band.
There you have it. Did either of you or anyone from the family ever think about going solo under the name Lone Grainger?
Not as of yet.
So the lady for Acoustic Alchemy used to always say that, you should do a project and call it the Lone Grainger. And then he would laugh forever. It's a great name. And he would just laugh, the Lone Grainger.
Yeah.
So maybe we should do that.
You can talk about the Alchemy CD too.
Oh yeah, so Acoustic Alchemy, if you don't mind, that since we both play with Acoustic Alchemy, we have a new CD out as well. Just happened to be sitting here. It's called 33 1/3. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I got the vinyl. There you go.
There you go. And that's how long the band has been together, actually. So it just kind of worked out well. Yeah.
We did some writing on that one.
Yes.
Oh, so I know it's going to be good.
That's cool.
But this has been great, Scott. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. So glad we could get it together, and wish you continued success, and especially with the new material. And we want the Pockets, we want the Grainger sound out there. So bring it to us.
Okay, we'll do,
and we'll send you some of this new stuff as well.
I appreciate that. Outstanding.
Yeah. Cool.
All right,
guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care, man.
All right, you
okay.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye. As the late, great Soul Train host Don Cornelius might have said, it was a stone cold gas hanging out with the Graingers. Can you imagine being a young musician breaking into the business by recording with and performing on the road with the legendary Earth, Wind, and Fire? It's kind of all downhill from there, but at least for a few years, the Grainger brothers got to enjoy the wild ride. And how wonderful is it that they continue to create beautiful music to this day? I want to thank Gary and Greg Grainger once again for their time and openness with the Truth and Rhythm audience. Speaking of which, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to Truth and Rhythm. It's so easy to do. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the Funk and Stuff channel, and you'll get Truth and Rhythm and also special features like Truth and Rhythm quick takes and premieres before everybody else gets to see them. So subscribe, tell a friend, tell family, support the show. Speaking of which, get that interaction going. Email me at scottg@funkandstuff.net. Let me know what you like about the show, what else you'd like to see, what else you might like to have happen through the program, through Truth and Rhythm, through Funk and Stuff, through whatever. Just share your feelings and thoughts on your favorite musical artists. I love talking music, and you'll find that I'm very responsive. So keep the email coming. Love it. And with that, as always, this is Scott, Dr. Jukes Goldfine, signing off by saying, you know the drill, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.